Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Savage Weekend, 1976. I'm giving it 4 to 5 stars. I thought it was pretty good. This is going to be another low budget horror, proto slasher mania, pre 80s movie. It's got the guy from Blade Runner, and this got another guy from Reanimator series. They both make their movie debuts in this one. Netflix puts it at 1976 when it was actually filmed, but IMDb puts it at 1979 when it was actually distributed. And I got that from the bonus features. One of the actors was complaining that he didn't get paid for years. Then he regretted complaining because he actually got his money later on. So, let's see. Starts out with this Otis dude. He's chasing around some lady with a chainsaw. I think it's the same lady who's at the end of the movie. So it's a little confusing. I couldn't really figure out the bad editing. And I have to admit the first half of the movie is quite boring. But it starts to really pick up towards the middle when the murders start happening. I like the creepy Halloween mask thing. I thought that was pretty effective. Anyways, lots of boobies in this one. White boobies, I should say. And the gal in the bonus features who was using this movie as a tool to get into the Union. She's got some interesting broad shoulders and stretched out nipples. Pink, of course. Other than that, none of the women in this movie are attractive to me. So they throw a lot of nudity in there. I think the broad shoulders, stretched out pink nipples one is has a very brief full frontal, maybe 1 second of full frontal. Can't really see it that well because she's kind of sideways like Rebecca Gavin in Vixen. That kind of camera shot, in the beginning where she's humping on the Mountie in Vixen. It's like that. She goes. So all these people are descending upon this lake upon upper New York or somewhere in New Jersey somewhere. And then there's this redneck there named Otis. He's the Blade Runner dude. He's the guy that's chasing around the lady with the chainsaw in the beginning. So the scene cuts inexplicably to these city folk who want to go to the lake with the redneck Otis and his reanimator buddy. the logger dude. So they go up there, and Otis gets all mad because he's working on a boat and they want to take it over or something. I couldn't really follow what was happening in this, and the characters are so bland and annoying. Even the gal with the broad shoulders and the stretched out nipples was annoying. And so I don't really care if they get killed by this slasher dude in the Halloween mask towards the end. The only difference between this one and Friday the 13th really is that they're not all teenagers in this one. That's the only difference. So I'm wondering if Friday the 13th was actually a ripoff on this movie, but I guess both of them came out around the same time because it took so long for the producer writer guy to find a distribution company for this one. So anyways, so the gal with the broad shoulders and stretched out pink nipples, she's like sunbathing naked. Some dude just pulls down his pants and starts doing it to her off camera. Kind of like Vixen, I guess. That scene in the beginning with the Mountie. And that was the only scene that really looked appealing to me. The rest of the naked scenes, and there are a lot of them, were kind of boring and didn't turn me on in the slightest. Even the pretty gal in this one, she looks terrible when she in the bonus features when she's older, man. She's got the bat wings, armpits, and the hippie shirt. I guess she was a hippie. And she's got the tie-dye shirt in the bonus features. And she's got the bat wing armpits, like I said. She doesn't look good at all. It's like seeing the transformation of Catherine Lee Scott from the Dark Shadows episodes of the late 60s until now. Her transformation wasn't very good either, let's just say. And I don't know why white women don't age as well as Asian women, but even the white gal that I used to date back in the early 90s, she looks terrible. She looked terrible in her 30s, man. So enough about that. But so they're kind of putzing around, munching on this this chicken thing. The good-looking gal, she says, "I want the breasts," and the guy says, "I bet you do." And they start then she starts doing this striptease thing in her lingerie with this maniac in his Halloween mask, which is pretty cool looking, actually. He's running around. He already choked one dude and hung him on a noose in the barn or something. Otis likes to shoot rats with a shotgun there. Likes to talk to his dead friend in the cemetery. How do I know this is a 1976 movie? Because the tombstone says 1976 on it. And so I wanted to capture that in the caption for this movie review. I'm going with the Netflix year, not the IMDb year. In other words, the year that it was actually filmed, not the year that it was distributed. So, sorry for that if I got the year wrong, but I'm trying to be as accurate as possible here. And, so the dude's going on a rampage. The guy who's chasing after the good-looking gal in her lingerie, he starts putting makeup on around his eyes, and then he gets poked in the neck with like this really long hairpin. I mean, I'm talking super long. Just gets poked right in the ear. And, off camera, of course. A lot of the death scenes are off camera, but still pretty cool gore there. It looks cool when they're done with their off-camera shenanigans and they show the guy with the thing in his ear. That was pretty cool. And then the husband and wife couple go looking around, and the guy gets impaled. Again, pretty decent death scene there. And then the lady's like sees the dead body there, the guy with the thing in his ear. She starts screaming and running around. The dude takes off his mask, reveals himself. I'm not going to say who it is, but then Reanimator dude comes back the next morning to return the car that he's borrowed from these people, and he sees all the death around him. There's pretty cool battle between him and the killer. It's a battle between a machete and a chainsaw. Pretty cool ending there. I thought the movie had a slow build up. It was kind of boring first half, but picked up really fast, and had a lot of decent kill scenes, like I said. A lot of nudity, and it's definitely a cult classic, somewhat of a hidden gem, I guess. I'm not going to say highly recommended or check it out. I'd say skip the first half and go to the first kill in this one. Watch it from then on, and much more entertaining than the first half, I think. I'm not going to post the movie or the trailer in the description box, but I will put the two actors' names that I mentioned, the ones that I could actually recognize. The other ones I'd never seen before, although the good-looking gal was in a horror flick with Tom Hanks in 1980. It was his first movie. I forget the name of it, but it kind of intrigued me. Made me want to watch it. It's like a Halloween ripoff. So there's that. Maybe I'll get around to watching it one of these days. I just didn't feel like adding it right away. After she mentioned that movie, I guess it was her second one. She actually worked with Tom Hanks in another horror flick, which was kind of intriguing. But not sure if I want to see a Halloween ripoff with Tom Hanks doing a cameo. like I said, maybe I'll get around to it one of these days, but I'm not counting on it. So that's the end of my review. Had a lot of church activities today for my son. He had Sunday school catechism. We went to this good-looking Taiwanese church lady's house in San Mateo. Her house actually had power because she wasn't living where my son lives with his mother, which doesn't have any power. Not sure if you're aware of this, but here in California, we become a third world country, similar to Africa. PG&E just shuts off the power whenever they determine that there's a fire hazard because they're worried about getting sued and whatnot. So this is especially troublesome for people who live up in the hills where it's windy, and there's an extreme fire hazard in the hills around here because of the hot weather and the wind combination. So naturally, my son lives with his mother thanks to the brilliant court system here, and I dropped him off this afternoon. The house was completely black. The parking lot was black. I had to use the flashlight on my phone so that we could actually see where we were going. And then I opened the door, and his grandmother doesn't have a flashlight on her, so it's just pitch black in there. And it's all par for the course. It figures that my ex-wife would keep him locked up in that dungeon, quite literally. And, it's just the ridiculousness of the whole divorce system is really aggravating, but there's nothing I can do, of course, because men have no rights in California. We're living in a communist hell where they just turn off the power willy-nilly, like in Africa. And it's just ridiculous. Got on my nerves. I told my son we got to move to Nevada, and I got him all riled up. But yeah, after going to that Taiwan lady's house, we just walked a block down to the church where we attended mass for an hour. So from 10:15 until 4 p.m. I was doing nothing but church related activities. There was a little break in between where we went to Safeway to get some Chinese food, but man, there was a ton of Chinese food at that lady's house. She made like 500 dumplings and all this watermelon pieces. So I just pigged out, man. I don't even feel like eating dinner. I'm just gonna have some grape juice, hit the sack. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do as many movie reviews as I would have liked, though. The problem was when I got to Starbucks after I did some grocery shopping after church, all the good seats were taken. There were no plugs. There was nowhere where I could actually turn my back during the nude scenes in that movie. So finally someone got up from one of the oversized chairs that was kind of facing a cabinet that had a lot of cups in it, so nobody could really see me with my back turned. I had to wait about 30 minutes for that. I was going on the useless dating apps on my phone. Of course, I couldn't score a date with anybody, but that delayed me another half an hour. And somebody actually got up from a table, and I was able to get my kid to move over there, and I finished up the movie. I even went back and listened to the Blade Runner dude on the bonus features. He was talking about Blade Runner and this movie and a bunch of other movies that he did. I guess this was a springboard for him to do Blade Runner. What was it? When did Blade Runner come out? Like 5 years later or something? And so he says he would like to start out doing a big shot movie like Blade Runner instead of this movie. But anyways, kind of an interesting bonus feature on this disc. So just want to make you aware of that. And that's the end of my review. I better wrap it up. It's going over 20 minutes later.